So let's say you're given a box that is 50 kilograms and it's being pulled this way by a rope at 150 root 2 newtons at a 45-degree angle. And the coefficient of friction, or the mu, equals 0.25. And you want to know, what is the acceleration of the box? Well, first we know that acceleration equals the net force divided by the mass. And since we know the mass, we need to find the net force. So first you want to draw a free body diagram. And it's being pulled this way by a rope. This is the applied force at 150 root 2 newtons. And we know that always going down is gravity, and this will be 500 newtons because the mass is 50 kilograms. And going upwards will be the normal force, but we don't know what that is yet. And going this way will be the friction, which we also don't know what that is yet. So the first thing we need to find is the normal force. And in order to do that, we have to make the components here. And since this is 45-degree angle, due to the triangles, we know that this is going to be 150 newtons, and this is also 150 newtons. And now in order to find the normal force, we need our sum of forces to equal 0. So, and that's our forces in the y direction. So it would be normal force plus 150 newtons, because they're going in the same direction, upwards, minus 500 newtons, because that's going in the opposite direction. And because of this, and that's all going to equal 0. And that means that the normal force equals 350 newtons. So we can fill that in here, 350 newtons. And next, now that we know the normal force, we can find the friction force, because friction equals mu times normal force. So that'll be 0.25 times 350 will equal friction force, which means that the friction force equals 87.5 newtons. We can fill that in as well. And now that we have all of our forces in the x direction, we can find the net force. So, because it's accelerating in the x direction. So the net force equals 150 newtons, that's this 150, minus 87.5 newtons, because they're going in opposite directions, and that equals 62.5 newtons, and that is this net force. So now using that, we see that acceleration equals 62.5 newtons divided by 50 kilograms, which is the mass of the box, and acceleration equals 1.25 meters per second squared.